Epictetus once said, "It is not that some things are by nature good and others bad, but that judgments and opinions make them so." Stoicism is a way of life that assists us in determining which individuals to trust and respect as we navigate the many relationships and encounters that we will encounter throughout our lives. What we are going to do today is take a look at some examples of people who, according to the Stoic way of life, may not deserve our trust and respect. These examples will be thought-provoking. According to Stoic philosophy, that we should only trust and respect other people when it is absolutely necessary to do so. This is due to the fact that virtue is more important than anything else. Who is it that we ought to be cautious about trusting and respecting? There are 9 different types of people who make it difficult to trust and respect other people. Join us as we discuss these individuals, which range from the specters of lies to the silent echoes of flattery. A question that each of us ought to ask ourselves before we begin is, how do these individuals influence your trust and respect for other people? In what ways does Stoicism improve our ability to respond with wisdom and composure? Mainly due to the fact that we do not find solace in condemnation, but rather in understanding and insight, which provide us with direction. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow, and every encounter is a chance to learn how to live a good life. If you are prepared to embark on this significant journey, you should take advantage of every opportunity. Leave a comment to demonstrate that you are eager to acquire additional knowledge regarding the ageless teachings of Stoicism. Let's work on developing the qualities that make us worthy of trust and respect, as well as the wisdom and strength to recognize when someone is not deserving of our trust and respect. Let's also work on developing the qualities that make us that way. To begin, the person who spreads rumors. The most important threads in the web of human interactions are trust and respect for one another. In spite of this, there are some individuals who, by the way they behave, isolate themselves from the virtue of integrity. But as an illustration, Clara was well known for her fondness for gossiping. In the beginning, it was just harmless whispers that were shared in private, but it quickly turned into a web of mistrust and disrespect among her friends. Clara, who had been someone who could be confided in if necessary, found herself in a position where her words were no longer believed. Stoicism teaches us that the words we choose to express ourselves should be reflective of who we are as individuals, and that gossip is in direct opposition to the Stoic values of honesty and respect for others. This causes people to dislike one another and spreads lies, which in turn brings society to its knees. Individuals who engage in gossip are characterized by a lack of self-control and a disregard for the dignity of others, both of which are in direct opposition to the Stoic principles. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once stated that we ought to place a greater emphasis on our character than on our reputation. This is due to the fact that our character is the essence of who we are, whereas our reputation is simply dependent on what other people think of us. He was referring to the fact that gossip is detrimental to both our character and our reputation, and as a result, we ought to steer clear of it and communicate with kindness and respect. Let us exercise caution with our words and make certain that they are not used in a manner that is demeaning to others or that leads to disagreements. Rather than that, they ought to be utilized to inspire and bring people together. By acting in this manner, we bring ourselves into alignment with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with our true nature, and we construct relationships that are founded on trust and affection. This story about Clara should serve as a reminder of how harmful gossip can be, as well as how important it is to ensure that relationships are maintained. When we want to live a good life, the way that we say things is just as important as what we say. This is because Stoicism centers on the way that we say things. People have a tendency to view gossip as meaningless chatter, but fact is that it has a significant influence on relationships and social interactions. The gossip monger, who serves as the story's main character, is a metaphor for the way in which words of gossip and hearsay travel through communities. We can gain a better understanding of the role that gossip plays in the way people connect with one another by gaining knowledge about the psychological effects of gossip. It's the currency of society. People use rumors as a form of social currency in order to achieve their goals of making new friends, climbing the social hierarchy, and demonstrating their power. In order to gain an advantage, the gossip monger makes use of this currency by employing knowledge to alter the perspectives and relationships of other individuals. Why people spread rumors? When people are curious, they want to make friends, and they want to improve themselves. They naturally enjoy talking about other people. This is because people want to improve themselves. For the purpose of achieving their own objectives or satisfying their own emotional requirements, the person who spreads gossip takes advantage of these drives by spreading stories, adaptations made to relationships. By encouraging people to share their knowledge with one another, gossip has the potential to bring people closer together. On the other hand, when the person who spreads gossip does so intentionally or irresponsibly, it has the potential to destroy trust and other relationships, alterations in organizational culture and dynamics. In many different settings, such as schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods, gossip is a common occurrence. It illustrates the functioning of power structures and cultural norms. The person who spreads gossip is in possession of the skills necessary to manipulate these processes and alter the opinions and social orders of others. Despite the fact that gossip may appear to be harmless or even enjoyable, it can have serious consequences that can damage people's reputations, lead to arguments, and cause mental anguish for those who are the targets of what is being said. To lessen the negative effects of talk and to establish a culture that is based on trust and respect, it is essential to have an understanding of the moral effects of talk. By examining the function of the gossip monger and the way in which gossip operates in society, we can gain a better understanding of how people behave and how vital it is for communities and relationships to have healthy communication. Second, the individual who is self-centered. Are you frequently the target of someone's inappropriately high levels of pride or anger? In that case, you most likely experience feelings of being disrespected and slighted each time it occurs. The person who is most likely to be at the center of these situations is a narcissist, which is a person who is excessively focused on themselves, their pride, and their own requirements, frequently at the expense of other people. It is our understanding that narcissism is more than just a love for oneself, rather. It is an exaggerated perception of one's own value and a strong desire to be the focus of attention at all times. When a narcissist is obsessed with being admired and does not care about other people, it can lead to a breakdown in trust and respect between the parties involved. Please consider the story of Damien. The narcissistic tendencies that Damien exhibited brought about a gradual erosion of trust between him and his friends. Damien's desire to be the center of attention was a lifelong trait, and he rarely acknowledged the efforts or emotions of others. But despite the fact that he was unable to celebrate the achievements of others, he was constantly in need of validation, which resulted in him feeling lonely. His friends and co-workers eventually stopped hanging out with him because they desired relationships that were founded on mutual respect and empathy, which Damien was unable to provide for them despite his best efforts. The philosophy of Stoicism, which was popularized by philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, teaches us that the only way to truly value ourselves is to lead a good life. It was Marcus Aurelius himself who stressed the importance of living a humble and helpful life, and he advised people not to praise themselves. When it comes to Stoicism, narcissists are not deserving of trust or respect because the actions they take are in direct opposition to the virtues of community and the general good. In the Stoic philosophy, we are instructed to cultivate relationships with individuals who exhibit respect, empathy, and humility. Because of these, trust and genuine respect are built. Therefore, despite the fact that we might come across narcissistic individuals along the way, Stoicism advises us to be wise in our relationships, to pick people who have the ability to lift us up rather than bring us down, and to choose those who share our lives rather than taking control of them. Taking this action brings us into alignment with the Stoic philosophy of pursuing a life that is peaceful and good. The third category is the envious. There are some individuals in the grand theatre of life who, rather than congratulating others on their achievements, look upon them with a sense of envy on their faces. Be on the lookout for someone who is envious by observing how they react to the achievements of their contemporaries. Does the expression on their face either brighten with happiness or darken with dissatisfaction? Not only do people who are jealous want what other people have, but they also harbor resentment toward those who already possess it. Take into consideration the tale of Marcus, a skilled craftsman, whose colleague Julia received praise for the excellent work that she had done. Marcus was filled with envy and put down Julia's accomplishments, which caused their peers to be unhappy. Instead of sharing Julia's happiness, Marcus let his envy get the better of him. Marcus was excluded from their community as a result of his actions, which were motivated by jealousy. These actions also caused conflict within their community. But philosophers of Stoic philosophy, who had a profound understanding of how people behaved, cautioned us about the destructive nature of envy. If you are feeling jealous, it can eat away at your soul, making you care more about the success of other people than you do about your own. This is something that was said by one of the most respected speakers in Stoicism for a very good reason. As a result, you may experience less happiness and become more focused on your own virtues. Not only does envy destroy our relationships, but it also erodes our strength of character, turning us into petty and self-centered individuals. Because of this, we are unable to recognize our own potential and are instead bound to the achievements and failures of others. Consequently, a person who is jealous does not merit our trust or respect because their actions are not founded on virtue, but rather on a destructive desire that destroys the harmony and mutual support that are essential for the flourishing of a community. As a conclusion, let us make an effort to be individuals who rejoice in the achievements of others and view them as a source of motivation rather than a cause for envy. By doing so, we bring ourselves into alignment with Stoic principles and construct a community that is characterized by mutual respect and support. Have you ever been in the presence of someone who was filled with envy? What actions did you take to prevent them from having a negative impact on your life? Let us know in the comments below. The complex emotion known as envy is triggered when we observe other people possessing something that we desire but do not possess ourselves. These feelings can range from mild jealousy to extreme anger, and they have the potential to have a significant impact on our relationships as well as our mental health. When it comes to getting along with other people and developing as a person, it is essential to have a solid understanding of what envy is and how it operates. You should be aware of these 5 facts regarding envy. Desire for something that another person has achieved or is skilled at is the source of the unpleasant emotion known as envy. Envy can manifest itself in a number of different ways. It typically manifests itself as a comparison of oneself to others, which causes a person to experience feelings of inadequacy or inferiority. Having low self-esteem, comparing yourself to others, or thinking that something is wrong are all examples of things that can lead to feelings of envy. Envy can also be triggered by different things. When we see someone succeed where we have failed, or when we enjoy something that we do not have, it is possible for us to experience this. Effects on the mind. Being envious can have negative effects on your mental health, especially if it leads to increased stress, worry, and even depression. Comparing yourself to others on a regular basis and having negative feelings about yourself can be detrimental to your self-confidence and prevent you from developing as a single individual. Social dynamics. Envy has the potential to destroy relationships by causing individuals to become hostile and angry toward other people. There is a possibility that it will make people more competitive, as well as make it more difficult for friends, family members, and co-workers to trust one another and collaborate. Identifying and acknowledging that you are experiencing envy is the first step in developing effective coping strategies for dealing with it. It is possible to lessen feelings of envy by expressing gratitude for what we already possess, concentrating on our own objectives and achievements, and demonstrating empathy for those around us. To overcome feelings of envy and to improve the quality of relationships, it is essential to have a healthy sense of self-confidence and a positive perception of oneself. Number 4, the complainer who never stops. It is a blessing in life to have mentors who guide us in self-improvement and help us become better people. The presence of these individuals, in addition to the constructive criticism they offer, paves the way for us to improve. On the other hand, it is essential to be able to differentiate between genuine advice and the noise of consistently critical feedback. Some people who criticize are simply critics who don't offer much in the way of solutions, therefore. Not all people who criticize are teachers. It's possible that you know someone who is quick to point out problems but slow to offer assistance. This person is the one who is always being critical. If someone is constantly criticizing other people without giving any thought to how their words might affect other people, then it is likely that they will say hurtful things that they are not intending to be hurtful. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus says that criticism can be seen through the lens of Stoicism, which is based on personal growth and resiliency. Don't explain your theory, live it. This message tells us to pay attention less to the voices of constant critics outside of us and more to our own internal compass of morality and reason. Stoic values are not compatible with the behavior of a person who is constantly critical and who searches for flaws without making any effort to improve the situation. Not only can the words of these individuals prevent us from developing, but they can also destroy our sense of peace and our sense of self-worth if we allow them to become ingrained in our minds. The implication of this is that while criticism that is constructive can be beneficial to our development, criticism that is constant frequently lacks the substance that leads to improvement. It is of the utmost importance to comprehend this distinction, to acknowledge criticism that motivates you to be good and to perform to the best of your abilities, and to acquire the ability to let negative criticism fall off like leaves from a tree, leaving you unaffected. It is important to remember that respect and trust are earned by being constructive rather than destructive, so let us look for leaders who are sincere and have a purpose. Not only do we shield ourselves from the unproductive criticism of the perpetual critic, but we also take an oath that is characterized by growth, resilience, and virtue when we live our lives according to Stoic principles. In the 5th place, we have the manipulative individual. Alex lived in a neighborhood that was very noisy. Alex's charisma and charm initially garnered a great deal of attention during his early days, but Alex, on the other hand, was a very manipulative person who frequently attempted to get his way in interpersonal interactions and situations by taking advantage of other people. The passage of time resulted in Alex becoming increasingly manipulative. He fabricated distress in order to gain sympathy and avoid taking responsibility for his actions, or he spread false rumors in order to influence a group decision. As time went on, members of the community who had previously been trustworthy and honest started to recognize the patterns. Things always seemed to be set up to help Alex, and his actions rarely matched what he said. Alex's deeds were an example of this. Due to a decline in trust, Alex lost both friends and respect. The number of invitations decreased, the level of conversation decreased, and Alex's influence diminished. At the end of the day, Alex found himself by himself, which was a striking contrast to the active social life he had previously led. Alex fits in perfectly with the rest of the people in this group. It is common for us to find ourselves at a crossroads in the complex web of human interactions, where we must differentiate between words that manipulate and those that persuasively influence others. This distinction is extremely important because whereas the purpose of persuasion is to enlighten and foster understanding, the purpose of manipulation is to deceive for the purpose of personal gain. Manipulation does not offer any genuine value and undermines the foundation of trust and respect that is necessary for the development of genuine relationships. The Stoic principles, which place the utmost importance on traits such as virtue, honesty, and integrity, are fundamentally incompatible with manipulative behavior. Through the practice of Stoicism, we learn that our actions and words ought to be in accordance with these fundamental virtues, which helps to cultivate trust and respect in our relationships. These foundations are eroded when manipulation is introduced into the equation, which ultimately results in a loss of trust and ultimately respect of the other party. In light of this, how can we, with Stoicism as our guide, identify and protect ourselves from the manipulative individual? To begin, we need to work on developing our capacity for discernment, which is a Stoic virtue that enables us to look deeper than outward appearances and evaluate the genuine intentions that lie behind words and actions. In order to determine whether these words or actions are serving a mutual good or whether they are designed to benefit one party at the expense of another, we need to ask ourselves the following question. Instead of fostering community, manipulation leads to isolation. It was a powerful reminder of the Stoic belief that everything we do and the decisions we make define who we are, and that when it comes to the pursuit of virtue, there is no room for falsehood or manipulation. In every social group, there are individuals who are skilled in the art of manipulating other people. When it comes to manipulative people, whether they are in personal interactions, the workplace, or even in society as a whole, it is of the utmost importance to have a solid understanding of the strategies and motivations behind their actions. If we are able to recognize these harmful behaviors, we will be able to protect ourselves and others from them. The flatterer is the sixth item. When people interact with one another, honesty is an essential component in the process of establishing trust and respect. On the other hand, there is a fictional character among us known as the flatterer, whose dishonesty undermines the very foundation of this idea. Thomas was notorious for lavishing excessive praise on other people. His words were charming, but they lacked the weight of sincerity that they intended to convey. Over the course of time, his friends began to question the authenticity of his compliments, which resulted in a decline in both trust and respect for him. It was because he preferred to flatter people more than he liked to tell the truth that his relationships, which had previously been profound, became superficial. Why is it that people who tend to flatter others are viewed with suspicion and apprehension? Stoicism instills in us the knowledge that mutual respect and honesty are the foundations of honest relationships. There is a form of deception that can be found in flattery, particularly when it is excessive and not earned. Not to encourage, but to control, is the purpose of this instrument. This is not intended to convey genuine gratitude, rather, it is intended to curry favor. These values, which emphasize the significance of being truthful and treating others with respect, are in direct opposition to the kind of behavior that is being described here. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, cautioned against the perils of flattery, stating that it exploits our frailties and is therefore harmful. The reason that people flatter other people is because they want to get what they want for themselves. This demonstrates that they are not capable of exercising self-control and that they do not value the Stoic virtue of authenticity. As a result of this, we ought to be wary of individuals who employ flattery as a means of advancing their own self-interest and instead make an effort to cultivate relationships that are founded on honesty and sincerity. In addition, we should fight the urge to be the one who flatters others, keeping in mind that genuineness is the source of genuine respect and admiration. There is a concept known as the flatterer that has been a part of human interaction for a very long time and in a variety of countries. A subtle form of manipulation, which is characterized by its sweet words and gestures, frequently gives the impression of being harmless, but it conceals ulterior intentions beneath the surface. It is essential to have an understanding of the mechanics of flattery in order to be able to get along with other people, avoid being lied to, and recognize the difference between genuine praise and influence that lies in wait. Creating a false impression of warmth and appreciation, flattery frequently gives the impression that it is genuine love or respect. This is known as the illusion of affection. On the other hand, it stems from a selfishly motivated desire to gain favor, power, or an advantage over other individuals. A skilled flatterer will take advantage of the other person's weaknesses and fears in order to manipulate them into doing what they want or remaining loyal to them. This means that they will manipulate them through ego stroking. Through the stimulation of their targets' fragile self-images and the bolstering of their egos, they make their targets feel as though they owe them something. Providing fuel for narcissism, good compliments provide fuel for the narcissistic ego and cause the individual to believe that they are superior to others. For the purpose of ensnaring the ego in a web of flattery, the flatterer will provide them with clever compliments and praise. This perpetuates the cycle of dependence and manipulation that has been established. Flatterers may appear to be charming, but beneath their charming exterior, they are actually concealing a web of lies. They have hidden agendas and goals that they are not revealing. Their words and deeds are meticulously planned in order to assist them in accomplishing their objectives, whether those objectives are to acquire something for themselves, to increase their power, or to feel better about themselves. Being aware and skeptical, because people frequently conceal their truth behind flattery, it is of the utmost importance to cultivate awareness and doubt. If you are able to question motives, differentiate between genuine praise and calculated manipulation, and trust your gut, you will be able to maintain your clarity and strength when dealing with flattery. The flatterer illustrates how human relationships can be two-sided, with the lines between love and abuse, as well as honesty and trickery, becoming increasingly blurry. By gaining an understanding of how it operates and the many layers it possesses, you can protect yourself from its deceptive allure and construct genuine relationships that are founded on trust and mutual respect. 7th on the list, who was hurt. Within the grand narrative that is our lives, there are always individuals who play the role of the victim. People like these frequently wrap themselves in a mantle of misfortune, not as a genuine cry for assistance, but rather as a means of gaining sympathy and avoiding taking responsibility for their actions. Over the course of their lives, they are not the masters of their own destiny, rather, they are perpetual victims of circumstance, and they frequently take advantage of the compassion of others. Consider Emily's situation as an illustration. Emily's friends, who initially felt sorry for her, gradually become aware of this pattern, which causes them to lose trust in her and respect for her. They have come to the realization that being a victim all the time is not a circumstance, but rather a choice. It is a refusal to confront the challenges of life with independence and responsibility. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. This demonstrates how essential it is to maintain both strength and control in the face of adversity in life." The Stoic philosophy is supported by this sage proverb, which asserts that we have the ability to control our character and how we react, even when we are unable to change the external world. When someone lives their life as a victim and takes advantage of the generosity of others in order to avoid or achieve something, they are not being truthful with themselves regarding their behavior. Not only does their behavior hinder personal development, but it also undermines the trust and respect that are essential for the development of healthy relationships that are mutually beneficial. To put it another way, empathy and support are essential components of our society. However, they should not be utilized by individuals who do not wish to accept responsibility for their actions. When we talk to people who play the role of the victim, we need to do so with discernment. We need to offer support that encourages people to take responsibility for their actions rather than allowing them to avoid accountability. By acting in this manner, we uphold the Stoic ideals of personal responsibility and mutual respect, thereby establishing a community in which trust is earned through genuine interaction and the collaborative development of individuals. Take part in the discussion by letting us know in the comments section below the types of people you are interacting with and the strategies you are using to deal with them. Number 8, the individual who is dismissive of empathy. Empathic and understanding connections are the threads that hold together the relationships we have with other people. Empathy enables us to form a profound connection with other people, to share in their happiness and sorrow, and to construct a community that is founded on compassion and respect. When we come into contact with individuals who lack empathy, we become aware of a dissonance in the harmony of human connection. This dissonance is a deficiency that hinders the development of a healthy community. Stoic philosophers, who placed a high value on characteristics such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, were aware that empathy was recognized as an essential component of a life well lived. Take, for instance, the profound statement made by Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, who once said, "Empathy is what hurts others the most. The hive injures the bee." This statement highlights the interconnectedness of our lives and the significance of empathy in ensuring the well-being of our collective human hive. The world is viewed through a limited perspective by a person who lacks empathy. They are solely concerned with their own requirements and experiences, and they are completely unaware of the emotional landscapes of other people. A person like this, who is emotionally detached from the happiness and suffering of their fellow humans, is unable to make a positive contribution to the fabric of a community that is supportive and understanding. The lack of empathy that they exhibit not only causes them to become isolated, but it also reduces the collective capacity for compassion and the ability to share the human experience. As a result, it is abundantly clear that individuals who are incapable of going beyond themselves in order to comprehend and empathize with the emotions of others do not deserve our trust or respect. That is because they lack empathy. Understanding is the foundation upon which trust is constructed, and respect is developed through the cultivation of shared values and mutual regard. These are qualities that are fundamentally absent in individuals who lack empathy. In conclusion, let us accept the Stoic call to cultivate empathy, to extend our understanding and compassion beyond ourselves, and to contribute to the development of a community that is characterized by trust, respect, and virtue. By acting in this manner, we not only show respect for Stoic principles, but we also foster a world in which every person is recognized, heard, and valued. This results in the creation of a tapestry of human experience that is abundant in mutual respect and understanding. Empathy, which can be defined as the capacity to comprehend and identify with the emotions of another individual, is an essential component of getting along with other people and forming friendships. However, the degree to which this characteristic is present in each individual varies. There are some individuals who struggle to comprehend the emotions of others, which can make interpersonal relationships and conversations challenging. It is essential to have an understanding of the person who lacks empathy in order to have a greater chance of getting along with them and developing healthier relationships. A lack of awareness of one's emotions. It is common for individuals who lack empathy to struggle with recognizing or comprehending the emotions that other people are experiencing. When it comes to understanding how someone is feeling through facial expressions, body language, or vocal cues, it may be difficult for them to fully comprehend. When something like this occurs, it may appear as though they do not care about or comprehend how other people are feeling. Disappointment in getting along with other people. In order to form and maintain relationships, empathy is an essential component. If a person is unable to relate to others, it may be difficult for them to form emotional connections with other people. As a result of this, neither the individual who lacks empathy nor the people around them may experience feelings of loneliness or isolation, obstacles in the way of communication. Because it enables individuals to see things from the perspective of the other person and respond in a manner that is appropriate. Empathy is an essential component of effective communication. It may be challenging for individuals who lack empathy to communicate with others in a manner that is meaningful to them. They may give off the impression of being uninterested, cold, or even rude, which may result in encounters that are fraught with tension or conflict. A comparison of cognitive empathy and effective empathy. There is a significant difference between cognitive empathy and effective empathy, which must be distinguished. For example, cognitive empathy refers to the ability to intellectually comprehend the perspective of another individual, whereas effective empathy refers to the ability to share and experience the feelings of another individual. There are some individuals who excel at cognitive empathy but struggle with emotional empathy, while there are others who struggle with both types of empathy for varying degrees. Solutions and possible causes of the event There are a variety of factors that can contribute to a lack of empathy, including genetics, parenting styles, and neurological conditions such as autism spectrum disorder. Therapy, social skills training, and mindfulness techniques can help people become more empathetic and improve their relationships with others. Although it may be difficult to change someone's natural level of empathy, these techniques can help people become more supportive of others. It is necessary to possess empathy oneself in order to comprehend how someone who lacks empathy can be understood. If we treat them with patience, kindness, and a desire to see things from their point of view, we will be able to strengthen our connection with them and our understanding of them. There are 9 people who pass judgment. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word judgment? It is possible to define judgment as an opinion or conclusion regarding a person or thing in its most basic form. On the other hand, when it comes to human behavior, being judgmental means making a snap judgment, which is typically something negative, about other people without fully understanding their circumstances or their personality. While attending a community gathering, Sarah, who is pleased with her ability to discern, notices that Peter is dressed in a straightforward manner and immediately concludes that he is lacking in sophistication and taste. She makes this statement so loud that it causes whispers to begin, which not only makes Peter appear to be in a bad mood, but also discourages those who believe that her judgment is unfair. Therefore, why do we not have the right to respect or trust those individuals who make snap judgments? Stupidity comes from understanding, not judging at first glance. This statement appears to imply that every individual, with their own unique set of challenges and experiences, is deserving of our understanding rather than our judgment. It was once said by Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This demonstrates how essential it is to listen and comprehend before forming an opinion. This piece of advice is not followed by Sarah. As a result of her lack of insight, she is quick to pass judgment on other people, which is essential in order to gain trust and respect. The decisions that she makes do not result in development or comprehension, rather, they contribute to the spread of negativity and division. Owning a point of view is not abnormal. Stoicism encourages us to exercise caution, to have empathy for others, and to have a deep comprehension of how complicated people are. Therefore, individuals who are quick to pass judgment ought to steer clear of these ideals because they undermine trust and respect. In order to contribute to the development of a community in which individuals are able to comprehend and care for one another, let us make an effort to live according to the Stoic principles of wisdom, justice, bravery, and moderation. It would appear that the proverb, "He who walks with the wise grows wise," is a rule that assists us in finding good company when we are investigating individuals who most likely do not deserve our trust and respect. Not only do we find people to avoid, but we also find people who reflect our own choices and actions. These people range from those who are jealous to those who are uncaring, from those who are continuous critics to those who are fake flatterers. Stoicism instructs us not only to avoid relationships with particular individuals, but also to seek out those who can assist us in developing our virtue and achieving inner peace. When it comes to selecting friends, partners, or co-workers, let us adhere to the Stoic philosophy and surround ourselves with individuals who inspire us to be the best versions of ourselves, who share our dedication to virtue, and who assist us in leading a life that is filled with joy and tranquility. It is important to keep in mind the advice of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "The company of just and righteous men is better than wealth and a rich estate." Therefore, as we continue on our journey, let us choose our companions carefully, as they create the path that leads to a life that is both virtuous and fulfilling.